He ain't even playing with it. So we look at verse 8 again. So Hanamiel, my uncle's son, came to me in the court of the prison according to the word of Yahuwah, and said unto me, By my field, I pray thee, that is in Antioch, which is in the country of Benjamin. For the right of the inheritance is thine, and the redemption is thine. Buy it for thyself. Then I knew that this was the word of Yahuwah. Think about that when he say buy this field. When you hear him talking about buy this field, what comes to your mind when you hear that? Is it anything in there what you could think of when you hear them about buy this field?
I was thinking about
Absolutely. You got something?
no, he got it already.
You don't know what it's in.
I was thinking about 1 Corinthians 6:20.
You think about who?
1 Corinthians 6:20 and 2 Corinthians 6:20. 1 of them 6:20.
Well, let's look at 2 Corinthians 6:20 for Glover here. Let's see what it say. Let's just see what it say. Hey, man, you all right? Nah, you got 1 Corinthians 6:20. That's one of them. But let's see if it's was 6. Ain't even no 6:20. So we'll just come on back over there to the first one that you mentioned. Yeah, he did now. But I'm just like I said, we gonna roll it. I had 6:20 in mind later on down the line, but he done went there. But we first is talking about this vineyard. So before we even look at this vineyard, let's look at Isaiah chapter 5 and then get you Matthew 13 and 33. Because Brother Dap mentioned about the vineyard. He's saying this is a purchased possession. See, what we're really trying to get to is being a one heart and one mind. Because the brother asking, okay, why are the people not on one accord? You know what I'm saying? Why the people, you know, you got some people, they kept Shabbat 2 days ago. Because they go by the moon. So whenever the new moon comes, they count 7 days, and then 8th, 15th, 22nd, 29th, that's when they keep it. You know what I'm saying? You got other people that be like, you can have multiple wives. You have others that say you can't. You got some people that say nobody but our people can be saved. You have others that say that they can. You know what I'm saying? You have some people that say Esau is Caucasian. You have others that say he Arab. You have others that say he black. You have some that say don't nobody know who they is. You know what I'm saying? You have some people say that everybody who came over here on cargo slave ships are not the children of Yasharal. You could be anybody. You have pretty much people who say if you came over here and you fit them there, that's you. You got people that keep the feast at different times. You got people that keep the feast according to the moon. You got people who keep the feast according to Enoch. You got people who keep the feast according to Jubilees. You know what I'm saying? What I think brothers don't sit back and realize and miss is that it's been a very rare occasion when all the nation of Yasharal was on one page. Very few instances. When there was instances that we were on one page, it was select chosen men. It wasn't everybody. You know what I'm saying? They got to mind that no matter if you dealing the word with Jacksonville or in Atlanta or in New York or in LA or in Chicago or in Orlando or in Miami or wherever, they feel like all us supposed to be doing the same thing. You know what I'm saying? In theory, that is true. But in reality, that's not going to be true. You know what I'm saying? You know how that's not going to be true? Because we just talked about it the other day. Because it's some of y'all done some stuff. You know you ain't got no business. So you know if y'all doing stuff you ain't got no business, there's people in other places doing stuff they ain't got no business. You would think if we was all on one accord with a Masha, wouldn't nobody be around here sinning. We wouldn't even be talking about a brother that y'all done sat back and seen. He around here rebought and raised it up. He knows the Shabbat. But what he doing? He out there with rains and rebought. You know what I'm saying? That stuff don't mean nothing, man. Shoot. If we was still in the world, we might swung on around there. It's just to hang out, just something to do. But then you know what? Something come up. I've been bought with a price. I've been paid for. You know what I'm saying? I'm indebted to somebody for a payment. The payment that I'm supposed to return back to him is my own life. You know what I'm saying? And if I don't want to take the pay, remember when we were watching you remember that video we were watching with the dude for what it was, House of Jacob, when he was like, he say, boy, we ain't gonna say the name of you, but he say, boy, Mashiach done bought you, boy. He done bought you, and he say, boy, he done bought you with that blood. He say you can either have that blood, cause he say you ain't got a Russian nickel. That man won't. He said something along them lines. It was funny to me though. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time though, he got a point though. It's nothing. Hold on, let me read this here. Then we get Genesis chapter, Psalms 49. Let me read this here first. Verse 1. Isaiah 5. Make it verse 3. He's saying, now, O inhabitants of Jerusalem and men of Yehuda, judge, I pray you, betwixt me and my vineyard. What could have been done more to my vineyard that I have not done in it? Wherefore, when I looked at it, it should bring forth grapes, brought it forth wild grapes. Hold on before we go any further. Look at, even though this is referring to Gentiles, come over here and look at Romans chapter 11, because I want you to understand. Say it brought forth wild grapes. Hey, matter of fact, what T say, dude at the phone spot asked her, did she know about GMS? The dudes that ran across.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? See, Will, his cousin, rolled with them dudes.
Yeah, I've always said that.
You know what I'm saying? And he like to see, I guess he had done seen them.
Yeah.
See them niggas right there, see them some wild grapes. See them some wild grapes. Them boys out there arguing with homeless people. You know something got to be wrong with you, boy. You arguing with homeless people about the word. You around here talking about Esau, you gonna die. This man trying to get a dinner tonight. You talking about Esau gonna die. Get that man a hot plate. Hey, it do though, cause they literally be down there arguing with homeless people though. Man, y'all know ain't nobody in Hammond Plaza but homeless people.
That's it.
You know what I'm saying? You might catch some people shooting through there, like how we called them. You know what I'm saying? I just shot through there. We knew they were gonna be there. Then the time you was there, that's because Josiah wanted. He ain't had the library reserved. He like, let's go meet him and try to clean it up and be like, you know, it's a beautiful day outside. Let's go outside. Sit out here in Hammond Plaza. It was a beautiful day now. But then when we didn't even know they were there, then when we got done and looked up, they over there off in the cut arguing with homeless people. Verse 16. One day you want to go down there and catch them.
Where you at?
Romans 11:16. I'm just messing with you. I know you don't want to go down there and catch them. It ain't gonna be nothing but comedic relief.
That's it.
That's all it's gonna be. You just gonna be down there dying. If you want a good laugh now, I'm telling you now, we get some comedy now. Them niggas is comedy. I'm talking about comedy. You gonna be sitting there looking at, look at God, boy. I'm talking about he mean what he talking about too. He gonna have his place cards out there. The white man is gonna die. See, what y'all don't understand is it's gonna be thermonuclear warfare, brother. See, they trying to get you to get the tip, and you gonna be like, this nigga's crazy. He gonna be out there with his arms out, with his throw rug on. You can't tell him he ain't tough. He gonna have, I don't even think them Timberlands he got on his shoe. Ain't even no Gore-Tex boots or nothing. Nigga just got on some cheap work boots. Ain't been to work in 6 months. That nigga told us my old lady left me. I said, why she left you, bro? She talking about she wanted a marriage license. Oh, whore. I said, you would call her whore because she wanted a marriage license. I wish I was making that up. That's exactly what he said. Say she's an old stubborn whorish woman. She wanted a marriage license. I say, shoot, sound like a smart woman to me. Right. Say, you ain't finna keep jumping up around in my guts. You ain't get no paperwork on me. Straight up. Straight up, that's how she feel. You know what I'm talking about? That's what it is. Insides. So you ain't finna be going in my inward parts. Get some paperwork. You know what I'm talking about? He called her a whore and stubborn and rebellious. With a straight face too. He say, for if the first fruit be Kadesh, which we know what Mashiach is, and the lump is also Kadesh, and if the root be Kadesh, so are the branches. If some of the branches be broken off, thou being a wild olive tree were grafted in amongst them, and would then partake of the root and the fatness of the olive tree. Boast not against the branches, but if thou boast, thou bear not the root, but the root thee. Thou wilt say then, the branches were broken off, that I may be grafted in. Well, because of unbelief they were broken off, and thou stand by faith. Be not high-minded, but fear. Now, the reason what we're looking at, the reason why that's the difference. Why do you think he make this statement that the wild grapes were brought in by faith versus the olive, the original not being, the branches not being? Why would you say that? What would make you believe that? Who are the branches and who's the wild grapes? The Gentiles are wild grapes. We being the branches. So why do you think he would state that the Gentiles stand by faith? He say, don't be high-minded, but fear. Because you know, it's a lot of white folks, boy, that come to dealing with their word, and boy, they feel like they can talk to us any kind of way and try to teach us about what's all. I ain't talking about somebody who done learned up under one of ours, but like, boy, it's whole ministries where it's nothing but Caucasians in it. They know we the people, and they talk greasy to us. You know what I'm saying? I don't know how I take that. Why you feel somebody came to you talking greasy to you about what, telling you the people of the book, but then talk greasy to you? I've been like this here, boy. Somebody gonna have to see me. You know what I'm talking about? But the reason why we came here, because he compared the Gentiles to wild grapes. In the 9th chapter of Jeremiah, he says that, you know, Egypt, Ammon, and Esau, or Edom, was uncircumcised in the flesh. But Yasharal was uncircumcised in the heart. So because of our uncircumcision in the heart, we were equal to being wild grapes. You know what I'm saying? He planted a vineyard, but instead he said, my children who I nourished, they rebelled against me. You know what I'm saying? He said that in the book of Isaiah. I brought up children, nourished them, they rebelled against me. Because that's what he did when we came. Remember we were talking about that last night? He seen the Masha feed them people with bread and fish, and the first thing he said, boy, that's the prophet. The reason why he would make that statement of that's the prophet is we know is because he know that Moses fed the people with bread and flesh. You know what I'm talking about? So he knew what the book said to be able to make this correlation and put this 2 and 2 together. We turn around, we look at it like we looked at it last night. Moses said that I nourished this people in my bosom. You know what I'm saying? Hamashiach came and said I would do you like a hen in her wings and carry you in my bosom to nourish you. But you know what we turned around and did? We rebel against him. I'm talking about right now to this day. I ain't talking about at that time. Because if we say we look at it and say desire the sincere milk of the word, and you supposed to be around here and you've been on the sincere milk of the word, but what you around here doing? Still lying, still talking bad about people, still jealous, still envying, still lusting, still fornicating, all this manner of wickedness, you rebelling against a man who's supposed to be nourished. That'd be like Iggy kicking up against little Muffin while she breastfeeding. That's what we doing to him. Because I mean, obviously we can't relate to that, but I don't know how y'all would feel if you around here and this baby is around here going against you and I'm feeding you. You really put yourself in there, because some of y'all got kids and your kid, close your legs, George. Some of y'all the kids too young to really know the difference. But you know how you'll feel, boy, you done brought up kids, boy, I done fed you and clothed you and they buck everything that you say to them. How would you feel about that? How you feel about that? I ain't taking no belt off. That nigga he getting to change address. You can't stay here no more. You can't stay here no more. When they get to a certain age, because boy, by the time you done took that belt off on them plenty of times when you get to that point. You know what I'm saying? You done already. You still bugging. So then you try to pull this move here then. Well, guess what? Buy your own clothes then. You know what I'm saying? Then guess what they doing? All of a sudden they coming in here with clothes. Boy, how this nigga getting that money by these clothes? We from the street, so we know what you're doing, son. You know what I'm talking about? You're doing something. It's just gonna be a snowball effect. Well, how I'm like this here, man. I ain't finna be walking in my house and my son buck me. I'm talking about, boy, you around here like this here, like that. You getting something ready. You eating all my beef ribs. You know what I'm saying? Eating all my cinnamon toast crunch. Using my good water. Now we got to hit him like cuz on Everybody Hate Chris. Boy, that's $1.50 of water right there you just used. You know what I'm talking about? That's 60 cents worth. You know what I'm saying? That's 60 cents worth of juice you just drank. You know what I'm saying? You telling me what you are and ain't gonna do in my house? Remember that conversation we had with Smiley before we proceed? He say if his daddy bought him a car and he was bucking and Pops took the car. Smiley like, man, Pop's wrong for that, man. That's my car like that. What you mean? Boy, I done bought you a car, you bucked me, boy, you finna get back on Tom and Jerry. You know what I'm talking about? You finna get back on Tom and Jerry, boy. Well, you better get you $1.50 and holler at JTA, boy. Cause we ain't finna be riding this car no more. Call your homeboys up. Boy, I'll make you walk, boy. Woo! Shoot, come on back over to Isaiah chapter 5. That real, boy, you finna go holler at Tom and Jerry. Bonnie and Clyde, Tom and Jerry. Onion and Bunyan, you finna go meet them. Boy, I'm finna take that. I just hear they talk greasy. Just sit back and look how y'all did it though. They clothes didn't wax old, you bucking me. I gave you bread from Shamaheem, you bucking me. I gave you quails, you bucking me. I gave you water out of rock, you bucking me. I set you up and gave you houses you ain't even building, vineyards you ain't even plant, and you bucking me. That means he nourished you now. He fed you everywhere you went. And what you turned and did, you rebelled against him. You don't think he wrong for putting you out? You just having a bad day, ain't you?
What?
I ain't seen you had one of these days in a while. It's all right. I guess you do for one. Everybody have one every now and then. Yeah, she all right. Shoot, I ain't mad at her. She just having a bad day. That's Jordan. Joshua ain't having no bad day. Joshua like this here. I'm just living the dream, baby. Look how he looking. I'm just living the dream. Just living the dream. But Jordan like she having a bad day. I ain't seen like this here. Like I ain't seen you do nothing like that in a long time. She used to scare me like this here. Be humping the bed. Be like, what was wrong with her? I guess that was her nervous mechanism. Same way like Leah rub on her ear. It just soothe her. He said, now, O inhabitants, verse 3, Jerusalem and men of Yehuda, judge, I pray you, betwixt me and my vineyard. What could have been done more to my vineyard that I have not done in it? You sit back and look at it. Hold this right here and look at Micah chapter 6. He say, what more could I have done? When you sit back and look at it, when we look at our forefathers coming up out of the wilderness, what more could he have done? You think there's anything else he could have done? Your clothes didn't get old for 40 years. You ain't go hungry. You had a place to dwell. You had light by night and a cloud by day. I killed all your enemies. What more? Is there anything y'all think he could have did more? 6 and 1. Y'all think there's anything he could have did more? Listen, say, Hear ye now what Yahuwah saith, arise and contend thou before the mountains, and let the hills hear thy voice. Hear ye, O mountains, Yahuwah's controversy, and ye strong foundations of the earth, for Yahuwah have a controversy with his people, and he will plead with Yasharal. O my people, what have I done unto thee? Wherein have I wearied thee? Testify against me. He say, what have I done to trouble you? You sit back and think about that. What has y'all done to trouble us? Any of y'all think y'all done did anything to trouble you? You know, it's a lot of people walk around here, man, they really think that the stuff they be going through is y'all troubling them. And he making it hard for them when really you just made it hard for yourself. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna tell y'all something too, man, just so y'all can know this here, man. That always trying to play the victim and, you know, all that type of stuff, man, you can sell that stuff to somebody else. I don't go for that one up, man. Just go ahead and wear it, man. You know what I'm saying? I had to wear mine, boy. I couldn't go in front of these people and be like, man, these white folks done did me dirty. I did myself dirty. I got to go in here and do these 4.5. I definitely don't want to work now and day for these people, but I'm the dummy. I sold myself back into slavery. You know what I'm saying? When I was in prison, you sit back and you find out slavery is not legal except for punishment of a crime. I'm like, boy, we sold ourselves back into slavery. Ain't this about this what you thinking about? When you start running across information. Well, when you turn around and you sit back and look at it, every time y'all running back to sin, you selling yourself right back into slavery. He that commits sin shall even live in it. You know what I'm saying? You're going to have to be able to testify against this man. What has he done? He said, what more could have I done in this vineyard? I gave you a word. I gave you a covenant. I made promises with you. The adoption, the service of Elohim. You know what I'm saying? Now we're looking at a better covenant obtained upon better promises. Now I gave you eternal life. Now I gave you sonship. Now I've given you a kingdom and rulership and made you an heir of an eternal inheritance. What more can I do for you? And you know what it is? Still ain't satisfied. Still ain't satisfied. When you turn around and look at it, right, Masha said in Luke 12 about 28, he said that much is given, much is required. And who men give, men will demand more. You know what I'm saying? You know, much was given to our people. That's why much is required of us. You know what I'm saying? It ain't just always necessarily in front of the nations. It's what's required of us of y'all. You realize what he gave you? Do you realize what he gave you? You realize what he gave you? Y'all realize what he gave you? Did anybody even know what he gave you? What he gave you? What more can he do? You don't think that would be much required of you? That's a lot to be given right there. Come on back to Isaiah chapter 5. We're still holding Jeremiah 32. So verse 4, right? What could I have done more to my vineyard that I have not done in it? Wherefore, when I looked that it should bring forth grapes, it brought it forth wild grapes. And now go to, and I will tell you what I will do to my vineyard. I will take away the hedge thereof, and it shall be eaten up, and break down the wall thereof, and it shall be trodden down. And it will lay waste, and it shall not be pruned, nor dig, but there shall come up briars and thorns, and I will command the clouds that they rain no rain upon it. For the vineyard of Yahuwah of hosts is the house of Yasharal, and the men of Yehuda his pleasant plant. And he looked for judgment, but behold oppression, for righteousness, but behold a cry. This still gonna tie in what we talking about. What you think this could mean? Well, Jordan just is not feeling it today. What y'all think this could mean? Sit there and look at it. What you think this would mean? I lay it waste, I break down, it won't be pruned or dig, I bring up briars and thorns. And bring clouds, but it won't rain. No rain upon it. You know what I'm saying? He said, I'll take away the hedge thereof, it'll be eaten up. It shall be trodden down. I want you to sit back and look at when you know what a briar and thorn is. You know what they do? I know y'all know what they do. You get caught with a briar and thorn, what it do to you? Aggravate you, don't it? Look at 2 Corinthians, I think 13. I will. Make sure that's the one that I want. Look at about verse 5, I believe. Woo, woo. Y'all done cut that thing off, boy. How the fish grease in now? I think they controlled it from right there. Oh, y'all ain't messing with it? Yeah, they said they were freezing. It wasn't cold in here like it had been in the past. It's good and warm in here today, though. When it was 40 degrees out here the last time we was in here, man, they had this thing bumping like it was 102 outside.
Perfect amount, you know.
It says, of such a one will I glory, yet of myself I will not glory, but in my infirmities. But though I would desire the glory, I shall not be a fool. For I will say the truth, but now I forbear, lest any man should think of me above that which he see me to be, or that he hear me. Or lest I should be exalted above measure through the abundance of revelation that was given to me, a thorn in the flesh, the messenger of Satan to buffet me, lest I should be exalted above measure.
Yeah, I got lost, bro. What you read?
2 Corinthians 12, I'm sorry. 12 and 5. I must have said 13, then. Read that again. Of such a one will I glory, yet of myself I will not glory, but in my infirmities. For though I would desire the glory, I shall not be a fool, for I will say the truth, but I now forbear, lest any man should think of me above that which he see me to be, or that he hear me. Now, if you sit back and look at it, he said that he would desire the glory, but he wouldn't be a fool. He said he'll hold back, lest any man think of him above that which he see him or hear him to be. You know, when we turn around and you look at it, Masha, he didn't take any fame or honor to himself, did it? So that anybody wouldn't exalt him above what they saw him to be or what they heard of him to be. You know what I'm saying? He remained humble for him to be able to be exalted. When you turn around and look at it, he always gloried in what he suffered. He made that statement clear as day to his apostles when he rose. Ought not I had to suffer to enter into my esteem, into my glory. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes you sit back and look at it, you know what mess a lot of brothers up dealing with this thing is they want that glory so bad. They want that honor so bad versus getting that honor that you would get for just taking up the affliction of a Mashiach and suffering it. You know what I'm saying? Then you would get that honor. Like this here. You know, you have some people, they want glory. And if you see some, a lot of times this is what they're glorying in. Oh, brothers persecuting me, man. They persecuting me. And they'll say somebody persecute them because they don't necessarily agree with them. You know what I'm saying? I done had dudes, man, we done had disagreements. I'm not going to sit here, they say they persecute me because they ain't done nothing to me. You know what I'm saying? You don't agree with me. We have a disagreement. Persecuting me is like literally coming to do something to me. I'll say that obviously I know from when me and Troy was on the phone with a dudes say bad stuff about me because it was a dude who I had never met, ain't on my page, ain't never spoke to. He said, I heard of you, brother. He said, boy, they say you crazy. They say you under a spell or something. I'm talking about a true story. I'm like, dude, I don't even know you. You know what some of y'all do? Say, I know what I like T. I know what Tia do. She gonna ask him who told him that. She gonna want to know and investigate. I don't care who told it to you. Don't make me damn bit of difference. You know what I'm saying? You know, Amasha told you that men will speak falsely of you. See, you know what I'm talking about? Separate you from their company. You gotta sit back and look at it. How many people really done separated you from their company? Not you just separated yourself from them, but how many people separated themselves from you based on what you doing? You supposed to take that as joy when somebody don't want to come around you no more because you keep the word. Y'all be trying to figure out ways to hold on to them. I told T the other day, I said a couple people who used to deal with us, one of the things that stopped them from doing this here, they ain't want to lose their family. You know what I'm saying? They family and friends, they ain't want to lose them. That was too much for them. You know what I'm saying? You're not going to be able to keep your family and friends and get a Mashiach. You're going to have to make a choice between one of the two. He said, lest I should be exalted above measure through the abundance of revelations. There was given to me a thorn in the flesh, the messenger of Satan to buffet me, lest I should be exalted above measure. For this thing I besought Hamashiach thrice, that it might depart from me. What that sound like to y'all? It's two things coming to my mind. Well, we can line this up where Apostle Shaul get it from. Where do you think he get it from? What does sound like to y'all? This man say, unless I got exalted above measure through the abundance of revelations given to me. He said a messenger of Satan was sent to buffet me and was a thorn in my flesh. And for this exact thing, I besought the Most High 3 times that it should depart. What you got? Somebody done pooed it? Yeah, you had that face like something was stink. Any of y'all got an idea? Any of y'all on the phone got an idea? Well, we could validate what Paul talking about. Going one?
I got something.
Go ahead.
I be guessing.
Why you scared to be wrong, man? This ain't no exam.
Yeah, oh.
It ain't like I'm gonna put, you got an F on your paper.
Hey,
Man, books say iron sharpen iron, man.
I was thinking about Judas betraying Martial
Yeah.
and when the serpent came to eat.
You know what I'm saying? But see, the key thing, remember what he said now. He said, to the abundance of revelations. I'm going to read this again, let it sink in. He said, lest I should be exalted above measure through the abundance of revelations. So he's saying, unless he should be lifted up based on the word that he getting. He said, there was given to me a thorn in the flesh. So to keep him from exalting himself, there was something to poke at him to keep him humble. Then he said, the messenger of Satan to buffet me, lest I should be exalted above measure. So that means here come a messenger of Satan to stop me unless I get put up here. He say, and for this very thing, I besought Hamashiach 3 times that it should leave me. 1 Kings chapter 18. Make it 19, actually. We're still holding Jeremiah 32. We work it back in here somewhere. 19:1. Y'all know what Elijah, you know Elijah had a lot of revelation, didn't he? He made a lot of prophesying, didn't he? Right? Who was Elijah's thorn in his flesh? The messenger of Satan to buffet him. Let's see. And Ahab told Jezebel all that Elijah had done, and withal how he had slain all the prophets with the sword. Now it says Elijah slain all the prophets with the sword. Did Hamashiach slay a lot of prophets with the sword? And if so, how? You got an idea?
Sword of his mouth.
Mm-hmm. No, Hosea 6:6 say, I've slain them with the words of my mouth and hewed them to pieces by the prophets. You know what I'm saying? Then people came up on him. Yeah, when he came up on, remember they came up to him, they talking about, how is a Mashiach David's son? And what did he do? Slew him with Psalms 110. Ha ha! Cut him to pieces. You know what I'm saying? He slayed prophets with his mouth. Remember, the word Elohim is sharper than a two-edged sword, dividing asunder. Remember, take with you the sword of the Spirit, which is the word Elohim. So he done came through like this here. Samurai. Ha! Cut him. It's real. Sit there and think about it now. I'm serious though. You see the correlation between the two? Didn't Elijah slay false prophets with the sword? Didn't the Mashiach call the scribes and Pharisees hypocrites and slayed them with the sword? Same thing. Then Jezebel sent a messenger unto Elijah, saying, so let the gods do to me, and more also, if I make not thy life as the life of one of them by tomorrow about this time. So that ain't that. So through the abundance of revelations that he had, there was a thorn in his flesh. This basically to keep Elijah humble, then ain't it? Not as a messenger of Satan, because you know Jezebel got to be a messenger, just mean a servant, bringing a message. That's all she is, just a wicked woman. You know what I'm talking about? She was slaying the prophets, to where Obadiah and others had to hide them by 50s in caves. He said when he saw that, he arose and went for his life and came to Beersheba, which belonged to Yehuda, and left his servant there. But he himself went a day's journey into the wilderness and came and sat down under the juniper tree, and he requested for himself that he might die. It is enough now, O Yahuwah, take away my life, for I am not better than my father. So he done asked for this thing to depart from him once. And as he lay and slept under a juniper tree, behold, there then a Malachim touched him and said unto him, arise and eat. And look, behold, there was a cake baking on the coals and a cruse of water at his head, and he did eat and drank and laid him down again. And the angel of Yahuwah came again the second time and touched him and said, arise and eat, because the journey is too great for thee. And he arose and did eat and drink and went into the strength of the meat 40 days and 40 nights unto Horeb, the mount of Elohim. And he came thither unto a cave and lodged there. And behold, the word of Yahuwah came to him, and he said unto him, what do thou here, Elijah? He said, I've been very jealous for Yahuwah Elohim of hosts, for the children of Yasharal have forsaken thy covenant, thrown down thy altars, and slain thy prophets with the sword. And I, even I, am left, and they seek my life to take it away. What that sound like to y'all? It should sound familiar. What it sound like to you? That's what it sound like to you?
Yeah.
That's what it sound like, right? He's saying these people come, they want to take my life away.
Yeah, we were praying.
Remember he came out there, remember Mashiach came and prayed 3 times that this thing might depart from him, didn't he? And who was that messenger of Satan? Because it said Satan had entered to the heart of Judas to betray him. And that was to buffet him. And why did he send the messenger of Satan to buffet him, to betray him, to be a thorn in his flesh? Because he had to learn obedience from the things that he suffered. He had to be made humble. You know what I'm saying? Because we know ain't no pride with the Most High. But Mashiach was a man at this time. You know what I'm saying? You know, you turn around and look at it, right? You know why the main reason why these children here, you know why the main reason why you whoop them? You know why some of y'all had problems with pride and issues like that there? Because your parents ain't beat that up out of you. You know what I'm saying? You know, both of y'all know Fat Boy put the picture up there the other day. I know my mama, he said I was spanked and I learned a little something, called self-respect and man and all this old type of stuff. You notice, not every child, but you notice kids who don't really get whooped, they be some real proud, arrogant bastards. You can't tell them nothing. You know what I'm saying? They don't listen. They don't follow instructions. They don't obey. They selfish. They do what they want to do. See, they're supposed to beat that up out you. You roll your eyes, see your mama supposed to beat that up out you. You too. Stop mud holes in you. You know what I'm talking about? Boy, I'm talking about you see stuff like that there? Boy, I'm going to beat that up out you before you even get to 5. Because the reason being is what we notice if you see a behavior, see y'all sit back and look at, that's my baby. That's my baby. But if you see a behavior in a child that is not me, if you don't take it and eliminate it, it's just going to continue to grow. So by the time they get to a certain age, ain't nothing you can really do to eliminate that behavior because it's with them. You know what I'm saying? If you see, it's like this here, right? Like how you say you tell him something, he shoot you that look. Well, you supposed to slap fire from it. Wow. You know what I'm talking about? So he'll sit back and look at, boy, I bet not never look at my mama like that again. Because it's going to be consequences. Because he be shooting her. Kingston be shooting these looks right here like, but that time he knocked over that, when you ain't want to blow them bubbles for him. Well, we ain't want to blow them bubbles for him. Boy, that boy got that whole bubble container. He put that whole bubble container, took it, and poured it out on the floor and gave a look like, what? You know what I'm saying? You could see the anger and disdain in his face. Now, no, we ain't talking about literally slapping him across his face, but boy, I need some behind though. No, I can't slap my 2-year-old baby in the face. I ain't finna slap him in the face. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Like they say, I ain't talking about the cop bite when they like 13, 14 years old. See, I ain't talking about the cop bite. You know what I'm saying? I'm talking about, wow. If I don't even get you in the face, I got to get you right here in that chest. Pop. But don't you never look at me like that again. Don't you never disrespect me like that again. You know what I'm saying? Because the reason being, which y'all are overlooked, he looking at, I got away with it once. I can get away with it again. I can get away with it again. And then you wait till they 6, 7, 8 to try to get it up out of them. It's too late. It's too late. You know what I'm talking about? It don't matter all the whoopings you gonna give him. He just gonna sit there and take it. You know what I'm talking about? He don't see it. Because I'm finna go right back onto it. Boy, I'm talking about, boy, you see negative behavior, boy, you got to nip that in the bud. Stop it. You know what I'm saying? Stop it. You heard him. He said, stop it. I'm for real, though. I don't just say that stuff just to be funny, like all seriousness, though. You know what I'm saying? Because usually that's where pride come from. Pride come from because you wasn't corrected. When you're not corrected and you able to keep on doing what you want to do, you take it to it be acceptable behavior. You know what I'm saying? It's not acceptable behavior. See, pride, like you say, pride come before destruction. So in order to keep Paul humble, I got to buffet you. In order to keep Elijah humble, I got to buffet you. In order to keep a Mashiach humble, I got to buffet you. Hold what you got in 1 Timothy chapter 1. If I'm not mistaken. Just hold this 1 Kings 19. We come right back to it. Then it's 2 Kings, Timothy, my apologies. 2 Timothy 1 and 5. I'm serious though. See, this is the thing. That's when people come to dealing with the word. You know, if you know deal with Israelites, they always tell you, boy, you got to be humble. Got to be humble. But a lot of them don't want to take the humility that come along with it, because sometimes you might get a whooping. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes that word might come and crash you upside your head. You just sitting there looking sick. You know what I'm saying? And you got to be willing to take that. You know what I'm saying? You know, a Mashiach ain't commit no sin. You got Elijah just sitting back around here. Boy, I just crashed some prophets. See, if y'all remember, right, since I mentioned it, y'all remember we looked at 1 Kings chapter 18? You remember when we looked at that? Y'all remember what was going on in 1 Kings chapter 18? You know what was going on then is, he said, you know, if Yah be Elohim, serve him, but if Baal, serve him. And then, you know, he said, let's make a sacrifice. You know, and the prophets of Baal was out there cutting themselves. You know what I'm saying? He made that trench, put that wood on it, all that stuff. Remember we looked at that? And we remember that what he looked at on that was actually a similitude of a Mashiach's death. You know what I'm saying? And then what happened after that death, he said the rain came. You know what I'm talking about? Symbolizing the giving of the Spirit. Because remember, he said he prayed that it wouldn't rain for 3.5 years. That's what the Apostle James said about Elijah. We know Mashiach's ministry was around about that length. You know what I'm saying? So we see the correlation between the two. But then you see the reverse of what's going on. He's sitting back looking at these people want to kill me. I prayed it. He said, man, just take away my life. I can't take it no more. Too much for me. Because the messenger of Satan coming after him. Jezebel. You know what I'm saying? If you look at most of the prophets in the word, they all had somebody that was after them. You know what I'm saying? You look at Jacob. Esau was after him. You know what I'm saying? Kept him humble. You know what I'm talking about? When you look at Jeremiah, the people kept him humble because they locked him up. You know, the prophets were persecuted because that keep you in a humble state. You don't realize that somebody, man, if you turn around and you look at it, man, and you get an abundance of revelation, right? The man giving you a word. He giving you understanding. You know, that stuff, that's why he say knowledge puff up. That's why some dudes get to feel like they like this here. Which is what if you ever see them Israelite videos, and most of them don't even know nothing. They always on, we coming to cut somebody. We coming, like they go out in the street with the purpose of humiliating people that they don't know nothing about the book. You know what I'm saying? What do I look like standing on the corner coming to humiliate people I know don't know nothing? If we was to get up and say, you know what? We gonna do a street ministry today and go preach in the street. And we went and did that, and all us out there, and we just in the street, which would serve us no purpose going to Hemming Plaza. You know what I'm saying? We would literally have to go in some neighborhood where a whole bunch of black people congregating at. You know what I'm saying? And then you berate them people for doing what they doing on the Shabbat. You know most of them don't know. Like I told you that time, that dude wanted to go out there and preach to the people who park at the fair. We finna post up in the fair parking lot and berate these people for going to the fair on the Sabbath. I said, you trying to get us killed. You know what I'm saying? That ain't no real persecution. You come around, you provoking these people. You know what I'm saying? Man, I know them people been on the tilt-a-whirl, they don't know nothing about no Shabbat. On the pirate ship, funnel cakes, you ready for one of them, man?
Boy, I wish I had some money, I'll go to now.
You ready to go in?
Broken them up.
You know what I'm saying? Shoot. I know I'm gonna be taking a journey. She ready to go. She better eat that funnel cake though. She better not pull that stunt she did last year. Talk about that funnel cake, then around here talking about I don't want it. We down there talking about I'm made for TV. I didn't want to be out here in this cold and hold hands. I said, look at this one here. Where we find you at? She was ready too. You want